I think a lot of people are hurting today. I think a lot of people are scared. I feel that, and I'm probably not the right person to talk through these situations, but I wanted to talk today because what happened is important. Damar Hamlin, who plays safety for the Buffalo Bills, is still in critical condition at UC Medical Center in the Cincinnati area. This happened during Monday Night Football, and very quickly it became a situation where the only thing that mattered was the health and safety of Damar Hamlin. And like every other person who watched, I was just waiting and waiting and waiting to hear something positive that signaled that he's going to be okay and pull through. All night, I've simply been thinking about him, his family, and all of his teammates and friends and coaches who were clearly showing that they loved and respected the hell out of him. This is the type of thing that I feel like I'm not equipped to convey anything super valuable or useful to anyone watching. I just have words to offer, and I don't know what those mean in situations like this. But I think there's some power in that we're all kind of watching this, experiencing this together. I usually do power rankings today, but that's obviously not going to happen. It'll wait for later. First and foremost, it seems pretty stupid to try and make dumb jokes about football and stats while we're all just hoping that Damar Hamlin is okay. Second, I did want to talk about this situation because it's a reminder of how we take what players risk every time they step onto the field for granted. Furthermore, I witnessed an entire community of NFL fans come together in real life and maybe more shockingly on Twitter. Yesterday evening was weird because before Damar Hamlin went into cardiac arrest on live television, I learned about the passing of Uche Nwaneri. If you don't know, Uche played offensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he co-hosted the Dumpster Fire with 5 Points and Tree once a week. I only got to talk to Uche a couple times, but his brutally honest takes about the NFL were refreshing. I would have loved to work with Uche more because I thought he was really funny and the type of guy I felt like I could just shoot the shit with about football for a long time. So today I know both Five and Tree are hurting after Uche suddenly passed away from acute heart failure. They're trying to honor their friend by asking everyone to sub to Uche's YouTube channel. I've linked it below and I'd appreciate anyone checking it out. Adam, Steve, I'm thinking about you guys, and just know I love you. Now, last night, like I am sure many of you were doing, I was watching the Bills and Bengals game, a premier game, a game I commandeered the living room television for because I didn't want to miss a minute of that game. And then with about 6 minutes left in the first quarter, I saw Bills safety Damar Hamlin and Bengals receiver T. Higgins collide on a tackle that in the moment just appeared to be a routine hard hit. I vividly remember thinking, oh, this is going to be a very physical game. The situation, though, grew quickly concerning as you could see a heightened call for the medical staff. And then after 2 commercial breaks, I think, it became very apparent that something serious was going on. I've seen a lot of injuries happen on TV, on the field, but I've never been emotionally shaken or felt just sort of scared and helpless like I felt last night. We all understand that injuries are part of the game, but I kind of look at football players as being invincible. Yes, I still think that as an adult man. I think of them as superheroes. When I, like many, saw the fear, though, in the players' faces, when I saw that they were clearly terrified about what they were witnessing their teammate go through, that hit me. It was the looks on the faces of so many Bills players that made me feel like I was watching a friend react to this situation. I know that may be silly, but that's the way it affected me and I think many in the moment. We had to wait a very long time before we learned that Damar Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest following that hit in the game, and that his heartbeat was restored on the field. He received CPR, and he was transferred to the UC Medical Center for further testing and treatment. He is currently sedated and listed in critical condition. Today, Damar's family released this statement expressing their gratitude for how the situation has been handled, and that they will provide updates as they get them. And I think just keep in mind that they are waiting. They are waiting, and these things take time. Damar's mother was at the game and was able to ride with her son in the ambulance to the hospital. And I think the fact that she was able to be there with him is what any parent would want in that terrible situation. And I didn't really know much about Damar before this injury, other than he was doing a pretty good job in place of the injured Micah Hyde for the Bills. Today, I see that Damar was loved and respected by everyone he seemed to come in contact with. The Bills think very highly of him. His former teammates from Pitt love him, and I suggest anyone who cares to do so go and read a little bit about the man that Damar is. The game was eventually canceled, and at this point, I do not know what the plan is moving forward. It's really not important, and I think nobody will care how the seeding shapes out in the AFC if they simply forfeit this game. When something as horrifying as this happens, it feels like time slows down, and I think we were all sitting there watching and waiting for answers, demanding the NFL do something, just to give us clarity. I'm not here to try and criticize how the situation was handled in terms of when the NFL did or did not decide to cancel or postpone the game, or if the teams and the coaches had to make that decision. Before I form any opinion on any of that, I need more information. There's a lot we just don't know right now. What I think is important is that the medical staff at the stadium acted quickly and that they did everything they could to save Damar's life, and they got him to the hospital to get him the attention and care he needed. Those people who worked to give him CPR, to restart his heart, to get him in the ambulance in the middle of a football field should be applauded. I saw one thing about a reason that you don't immediately cancel a game is to keep the people in the stadium so that the medical staff has a clear exit out of the stadium and they're not losing any important time due to a massive traffic exit. So on a very practical level, that makes sense. While we may have never seen this during an NFL game, this did happen about 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago to soccer player Christian Eriksen during the Euro 2020 game against Finland. Eriksen's heart stopped as he went into cardiac arrest. Eriksen recovered, and they in fact finished the game that same day while he was in the hospital recovering. The big difference is that Eriksen, I believe, was stabilized at the hospital, and he was not in critical condition overnight like Damar. So the longer he remains in critical condition, the scarier this becomes. I've been in a situation with a friend in critical condition, and there's no quick resolution. You have to be patient, and you have to continue to just hope for the best, and that every piece of news that the doctors give is incrementally more and more positive. I hope that's the case today. What I feel good about seeing is the NFL community come together. We all know football fans are crazy. We're crazy people. But when things like this happen, more often than not, you see the right thing come out of it. You see people band together. And while there's always negativity on the internet, I think most of the guys I work with in the sports YouTube community experience the same positivity on our channels. It doesn't get enough attention that the people coming to watch are good people. What I saw last night, though, were Bills and Bengals fans showing up to the hospital to pray for Damar outside while he was being treated. I saw that Damar had a charity that he supported via a GoFundMe account to raise money to support toy drives for kids in his community. His goal was to raise $2,500, and that charity now has raised over $4 million in less than 24 hours. Players across the NFL all offered the same love and moral support via their social media accounts. And the primary thing I witnessed was millions of football fans all rooting for Damar and his family. Not everything was positive, okay? There are sick people who will exploit any situation for money and or attention, but I'm not going to give them any credence or any of my energy. You know, we focus so much on the bad when we follow the NFL, the mistakes, the off-field problems, the owners, the officiating, whatever. But last night was a reminder that the NFL is filled with incredible people and high-character men. I'm thinking about Stephon Diggs, who went to the hospital to be with his teammate. I'm thinking about Joe Burrow gathering the captains to go and check on the Bills in the locker room while everything was uncertain. I'm simply thinking about all the guys I saw holding each other up while this went down in real time. If you want to criticize the NFL for one thing, and one thing that I think is fair to criticize right now, it's how hard the owners work to tirelessly not guarantee player contracts, fully guarantee them. Remember this situation the next time the NFL owners do not want to give players fully guaranteed contracts. Coaches get them, so why not the players who are actually risking their health and their ability to make money in the future? Another thing we should consider are the players, the coaches, and anyone on the field who witnessed this happen in real time. Again, we could see the shock and the fear in their faces in the minute-long aftermath of Hamlin collapsing, and it's really something I've never seen at a sporting event. I hope T. Higgins, who left the stadium with his arm around his mother, is able to process this event with clarity and understand that he's not at fault and that this was, by all indication, a freak accident. I can't imagine what this game, one of the most important games of the season, would have looked like had they kept playing on Monday night, but I am glad that they didn't. I know the teams in the league have the resources to offer counseling, and I am sure they will. I have no idea how these two teams respond to this, but again, in addition to Damar hopefully surviving, all we can hope for is that the NFL handles the next steps with great care and puts all of the players ahead of their profit, their bottom line. Now, Skip Bayless is getting a lot of attention, but I hope we focus more on the people in sports media who handle this situation with dignity, respect, and humanity. Ryan Clark, Booger McFarland, Scott Van Pelt, Lisa Salters, give them your attention. Remember who handled this really tough situation in the moment with grace and compassion. The people who rise up in the worst circumstances are the ones who deserve our time and energy. Remember them the next time you're making a choice about what sports information you choose to consume, because that's where your power lies. One thing I don't like about social media is the witch hunt that occurs when we decide someone didn't say or tweet the exact right thing. And it's not just Skip. It happens all the time. We talk about being respectful to the person injured. We demand that we see Damar or anyone injured as a human first when a serious injury happens, which is the only morally correct approach. What bothers me, though, is watching some people demanding humanity while then treating another human with very little. That's one of the pitfalls and hazards of the age we live in, and I think the internet would be a better place if we were all just a little more forgiving. That said, I know that when we all witness a senseless tragedy, it's our instinct to find a villain and lash out and focus our vitriol in that direction. But if we really want to be respectful to Damar or anyone involved or future situations, it's to handle what we do on our end with love. Let's be honest, it's hard to cope with the fact that we live in a world where matters of life and death are almost completely out of our control. When we see things like this happen, we're reminded of the randomness and the chaos of the universe, and it's in our human nature to attempt to rationalize and I think assign blame when we should just try to forgive and take it as a reminder to use our own unique human capacity for compassion and understanding. What I'm trying to say is you can only control sort of how you react in these situations. And if you can be a beacon for positivity and for love versus piling on the negative reaction. I think that serves the community better. I think it serves the people who might be going through the terrible situation better, and I think it ultimately serves you better as an individual. Damar Hamlin, we're all thinking about you, we're all pulling for you, and may all the love and support get to you that you need now.